How to make a strong offer is a conversation that I am having over and over again with our buyers right now because of the current market conditions in Northern Virginia. It's just brutal out there. I don't have a better way to say it. So this is a conversation that we are having a lot now because it really depends on where our clients are comfortable. So I can tell you how to win an offer, how to win a bid, but if you aren't comfortable doing those things, then it really doesn't make a difference. And it's such a balancing act because it's human nature when you know that you're in a competitive situation, which is the case 9 times out of 10 right now, that you could easily get caught up in the competition. And then what happens, you win the bid, you should be really excited, but you're not because you're going, oh my God, like I didn't think I was gonna win it. And then you have buyer's remorse. And that's a place that I never want our clients to be in. So I'm going to be talking from a standpoint today of what you can do to make your offer the strongest. Does that mean that you should do it? Absolutely not. That is a personal decision. That's a conversation that you want to have with your agent, or if you are going to reach out and be working with us, that's a conversation that we are going to be having. But big picture view, these are all things that you can do to make your offer strong in the current market. Price is of course going to be the top of the list, but price is not the only thing that is going to win an offer in this market. It all comes down to the individual details and all of those little terms that make up and compose an entire offer and make it either really strong or, oh, this offer has a really high price, but it has all these terms and conditions, so it's getting pushed off to the side. Offer what you are comfortable offering. Typically, that's going to be based off of what it equates to for your payment. That's a conversation to have with your loan officer. If the seller is accepting an escalation addendum, I would strongly encourage you to include an escalation addendum with your offer so that you can make a strong offer out the gate. But then you're also adding an addendum that is showing you are willing to pay up to a certain price and beat any other offer by a certain amount. That maximum price, your cap in your escalation addendum, should be the absolute highest price that you are comfortable paying for that house. Do not get caught up in the competition. I cannot reiterate that enough. I don't care what the market is doing, you still have to be comfortable in what you are offering. And if you're not, then you really need to rethink your strategy. All right, let's talk about these nitty-gritty details. And this is ultimately what is causing a buyer to win or not right now. I'm going to start with the earnest money deposit. Seems like a pretty minor detail, right? Not in this market. If you are really serious about a house and you want to show the sellers that you mean business, offer anywhere from 2.5% to 3% minimum for your earnest money deposit. That shows them that you plan on adhering to the contract. You are not going to be willing to walk away from $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 plus dollars. That's also a great way to show them that you mean business without it also costing you additional funds. Because as long as you adhere to the contract, then your earnest money is of course credited back to you and applied to the amount that you will ultimately need to bring at closing to purchase the home. Next is the home inspection contingency. And this one is super controversial, and I'm gonna start out by saying, I'm not saying it's smart to waive it. I'm not even saying it makes sense, and I'm definitely not saying I'm a fan of it. But what I am saying, it's the reality in the market in Northern Virginia right now. 99% of the time, contracts do not have a home inspection contingency. So if that's not something you are comfortable waiving, then take a different approach and focus on homes that have been on the market more than a week and do not have a multiple offer deadline. If you are comfortable doing that, then it is the first thing that you can waive in terms of your contingencies to stand out to the seller. It is highly unlikely that you are going to be able to secure a home that has multiple offers if you include a home inspection contingency. Something else that you can think about doing is having a walk-in talk with your home inspector when you go tour the home, or you could go back for a second tour. You do have to get permission from the listing agent here to bring the inspector with you, but it is an opportunity to at least get your home inspector to put eyes on the home, look at the major systems, look at the roof, make sure that they aren't seeing any red flags with the foundation or any other high ticket items. It can give you a little bit more security as a buyer, But there's no two ways about it. When you're waiving a home inspection contingency, it comes with risk. And unfortunately, it's just the market that we are in right now. Next is your financing contingency. And this is one that you really can safely waive this if you are working with a loan officer who has done his or her due diligence. They've already got you TBD approved, TBD being the property itself, meaning they've already collected all of your financial documentation, your tax returns, your pay stubs, they've run your credit, they've verified your employment, all of those little details that go on behind the scenes so that you can safely waive the financing contingency. This is another way to stand out to sellers. But again, if it's not something you're comfortable doing, then you've got to think of another workaround, which is going to be looking at homes that are not new to the market. The financing contingency is risky for sellers because it's typically anywhere from 10 to 21 days long, sometimes longer if it's a buyer's market. But that means there's a longer period that if your loan is denied, that their property has been off the market and the deal could still fall through. It doesn't cost you in terms of your bottom line to waive the financing contingency, so that is a plus on the buying side as long as you are confident in your financing and the loan officer that you're working with. Next up is the appraisal contingency. This one can be a game changer, and it is another high risk move. I don't want to sugarcoat anything in this. Waiving your appraisal is pretty hardcore. It's definitely high risk because while we can look at comps and give our best estimate of what perceived market value is going to be, we don't know what the appraiser is going to do. It's one person's opinion in a very short moment in time, and that appraisal may not come in where we think it's going to come in, or it may just be that you are in such a competitive situation. If you're going up against 10, 12, 15 or more offers, the price bids up so high that you know there's no way the house is going to appraise for the sale price that you go under contract for. So waiving it is definitely, you are serious, but you have to know that you either have the ability to say, if you're putting 20% down, your loan officer can restructure your loan to be 10% down. This is just an example in the event of a short appraisal. Or if you're already putting a lower down payment, let's say 5%, then you've got to know that you have cash reserves in the event that the appraisal comes in short so that you can make up the difference and put more money down. It's definitely a conversation that involves more detail than what I'm going to go into in today's video, but just to give you an idea, this is one that really wins deals in this market because it takes away the risk for the seller. They know that if they're going under contract at $500,000, it doesn't really matter on their end where the house appraises if you're waiving the appraisal contingency. You could go a little less aggressive than completely waiving it and include what is called a gap guarantee. So in the event that you put a $10,000 gap guarantee and the appraisal is short $10,000, well, it still wouldn't impact the seller. But what I'm finding in this market, in most cases, the gap guarantee simply isn't enough unless you put this, massive gap guarantee in there. And even then, if you're a seller that is looking at offer A and offer B and they're completely apples to apples everywhere else, if offer A waives the appraisal contingency and offer B has just a massive gap guarantee, they're going to go with offer A. If you are offering on a home where the sellers are looking for a rent back, so post-occupancy agreement, in that case, another way that you can stand out to them is offer them a free rent back. So typically 30 to 60 days is what sellers are looking for. Again, every instance is going to be different, but on average, that's what you're looking at. That's another way that you can stand out and say, hey, I'm willing to let you rent this back. Oh, and I'm also willing to do it for no cost to you. That can be a detail that could make a difference. It really depends on how much competition there is. And I think that that is really the message that I want to deliver to you in this video. Every single sale is going to be different. There's different nuances depending on how much competition there is. If there's one or two offers, well, you probably don't have to offer a free rent back. But if there's 10, 15 or more offers, it's a detail that you're going to want to consider. And these are the conversations that I'm having with our buyers up front, because depending on what they're looking for, where they're looking for it, and the price range is really going to depend on what I need to prepare them for. I don't want to have them out touring homes and then make an offer, and then I'm telling them all of these details that they need to be ready for. We have this conversation up front because this market is just rough on buyers. I can't change that. I wish that I could. So the only thing that I can control is preparing them for what they're getting into. And there are plenty of times that I have conversations with potential clients who have been referred to me, who want to buy, and then they learn what the market is doing here and they go, I'm just not comfortable getting into this market, and that is perfectly okay. If you are comfortable getting into the market, you need to be comfortable with what you're getting into. So no surprises. A couple other details of what you can do to make your offer stand out. And again, this is going to be if you are in highly, highly competitive situations. I have never had to do a lot of this until the last, I would say starting in 2020 and definitely in 2021 is when a lot of these nitty-gritty details became necessary because we simply just don't have enough supply to keep up with demand. So it's ultra, ultra competitive. If the property is in a homeowners association, typically the seller pays for the resale packet that is required to be provided to the buyer to review. You could also offer to absorb the cost of that. I see them range anywhere from $250 to about $500 depending on the association. So that's something that you could throw into your offer to sweeten the deal. I've even seen on my own listings where buyers offer to give a gift card, like a big gift card, $500 to the seller to their favorite restaurant, just to try to stand out from the competition. And I mention that because that's literally how crazy it can get. And I don't like it. I definitely miss the days where it was a more stable market. I really don't miss the days where it was a buyer's market because it was just overwhelming with the amount of inventory. But right now, there are so few homes for sale, so many buyers are wanting to purchase, and you really have to get creative. I recently won an offer for clients of mine because I knew the listing agent, had worked with her multiple times over the years, and I knew that she liked cookies. So not only did I send her some crumble cookies, but I also sent an extra box so that on the day that she was going to be meeting with the seller, she could bring a box to the seller, and it was from my buyers and me. You just have to think outside of the box sometime. So hopefully this gives you some insight on what you may be up against if you are working on creating and sort of calibrating the strongest offer that you possibly can. My last just little tidbit is again going back to, I don't care what the market is doing, you have to be comfortable. I can tell you exactly what you need to do to win in a multiple offer situation, but at the end of the day, the ultimate decision comes down to what are you comfortable doing, and don't get caught up in the competition, because then when you win, it's not going to be that happy feeling of, oh my gosh, I just secured a home that I really love. It's going to be, oh my gosh, I secured this home and I'm absolutely not comfortable with these terms and I got to get out of this contract. I hope you got some value from today's video. If you are looking to upsize, be sure to grab my free guide. It's a blueprint on how we approach upsizing, so selling one home, buying another at the same time. And until I see you on the next one, thanks for watching.